The Rivian R2 embargo date just leaked, and honestly, this might be one of the most significant moments in Rivian's journey toward mass-market accessibility. But here's where things get really interesting. Rivian may have accidentally confirmed this leak themselves by doing something they've never done before at this scale, putting multiple R2s on public roads simultaneously. And not just any R2s. We're talking about two completely different versions of this vehicle cruising around at the exact same time. Now, if you've been following Rivian's development process like I have, you know that seeing test vehicles is nothing new. But there's something genuinely weird happening right now that nobody saw coming. There are two distinct types of R2s out there on public roads as we speak. Some are still wrapped in that full camouflage pattern you've seen in spy shots before, the kind of disguise that automakers use when they're still testing and validating the actual mechanics and performance of the vehicle. But then there are these other R2s that look like they drove straight out of a Star Wars film. Seriously, these things are painted in bright, unmistakable colors with droid-like graphics that make them impossible to miss. And this whole situation raises one massive question that everyone in the EV community has been asking. Why are there two completely different models driving around at the same time? What's Rivian's strategy here? Once you understand what each of these R2 versions is actually designed for and what phase of development they represent, the embargo leak suddenly makes a whole lot more sense. The pieces start falling into place, and you begin to see the bigger picture of where Rivian is in their timeline right now. So let's dive deep into this, because there's way more happening beneath the surface than most people realize. But before we get into all of that, I want to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, Nokian Tires, because this partnership actually matters for Rivian owners. Rivian has officially designated the Nokian Tires Hakkapeliitta R5S as the official winter tire for the R1 platform here in North America. This isn't just a random sponsorship deal. These tires are now available for purchase directly from the Rivian Gear Shop, which means Rivian themselves are standing behind this product. The Hakkapeliitta R5 is fully compatible with both the R1T and the R1S, and it carries both the 3-Peak Mountain Snowflake certification and the Ice Grip certification, which are serious indicators of winter safety performance. But what really matters for electric vehicle owners is that it's electric fit certified, meaning this tire was specifically designed and tested for the unique characteristics of electric vehicles, including the instant torque delivery and the additional weight that EVs typically carry. Thank you so much to Nokian for sponsoring today's video and for creating products that actually enhance the EV ownership experience. Now, let's get back to the news. For months and months, R2 sightings were incredibly rare. You'd see one camouflaged car here, maybe catch a spy shot there, but these were isolated incidents that gave us only glimpses of what Rivian was working on. The sightings were so infrequent that every single one became news in the EV community. People would analyze every pixel of grainy photos trying to identify new details. But in just the last few days, something has totally changed. The floodgates have opened. We've suddenly started seeing significantly more R2 validation builds out on public roads, still wearing their typical camouflage wrap, still clearly in the testing phase where Rivian is validating the vehicles themselves, making sure everything from the suspension to the powertrain to the thermal management systems works exactly as intended in real-world conditions. These validation builds are crucial because they're not about showing off the design anymore. Rivian already revealed what the R2 looks like at the launch event. These camouflaged vehicles are about making sure that when the R2 finally reaches customers, it actually performs the way Rivian promises it will. They're testing durability. They're testing efficiency in different climates. They're testing how the vehicle responds to various road conditions and driving scenarios. This is the unglamorous but absolutely essential work that happens before any vehicle can go into production. But at the exact same time these validation builds started appearing more frequently, something else showed up on public roads that nobody expected. Not just one, but 3 R2 Droid vehicles. And these aren't hiding. These vehicles are wrapped in eye-catching colors. blue, orange, and yellow. They stand out intentionally. The blue one in particular should look really familiar to anyone who's been following Rivian closely, because it's the exact same R2 that Rivian showcased at their Autonomy and AI Day event back in December, when they unveiled the addition of LiDAR to their sensor suite and discussed their approach to autonomous driving capabilities. So once people started sharing photos and videos of these Droid R2s driving on public roads, cruising through neighborhoods, stopping at traffic lights just like any other vehicle, the obvious question that everyone started asking was, what's actually going on with these Droid R2s? Why would Rivian put such visually distinctive vehicles on public roads when they're still running camouflaged test vehicles at the same time? It seemed contradictory. It seemed like mixed messaging. But a recent CNBC segment quietly answered that question for us in a way that reveals exactly what phase Rivian has entered. These Droid R2s aren't validation builds anymore. That's the key distinction. These are the media vehicles, and the fact that they're on public roads means they're clearly very close to production specification. The CNBC ride-along segment showed us something that validation builds never show. A completely finished exterior with production-quality paint and trim, a fully completed interior with all the final materials and fit and finish that customers will actually experience. And most importantly, a vehicle that Rivian is completely comfortable with sharing with media outlets and allowing to be filmed and photographed without any restrictions. But that CNBC segment isn't even the most interesting part of this story, because that ride-along with R.J. Scaringe, Rivian's CEO, showed us genuinely new details about the R2 that we haven't seen in any previous coverage. These are the kinds of details that only become visible when you actually get inside the vehicle and start using it. So what did we learn from this unprecedented access? Well, first, take a close look at the ceiling area right above the center console. Right next to the hazard lights button and the SOS emergency button on that center ceiling panel, there are a few new switches that weren't visible in any of the promotional materials or the initial reveal. Now, Rivian hasn't officially confirmed what these switches control yet, and they didn't specifically mention them in the CNBC segment, but based on the R2's design features and where these switches are positioned, the most logical explanation is that these control the rear window drop function and the rear quarter panel windows venting feature. Both of these are features that Rivian has mentioned the R2 will have, and having dedicated physical switches for them right on the ceiling makes perfect sense from a user interface perspective. It means you can control airflow and ventilation without diving into touchscreen menus, which is exactly the kind of thoughtful design that Rivian built their reputation on with the R1 platform. Now look at the screens in that CNBC footage. Both the driver display and the center infotainment display are running a totally new user interface that's completely different from what we see in current R1 vehicles. This isn't just a minor refresh or a software update. This appears to be a fundamental rethinking of how Rivian approaches in-vehicle software design. You can see more pop-up style application windows that appear to float above the main interface, creating a layered visual hierarchy. There's a left side toolbar that provides quicker access to frequently used functions, reducing the number of steps needed to access key features. And perhaps most noticeably, the UI elements throughout the system have been rounded and softened in a way that honestly feels very Apple-like in its design philosophy. As someone who drives an R1 vehicle every single day and interacts with Rivian's current software interface constantly, I have to say I really like the look of this update right now. It tells me that Rivian is genuinely rethinking how you interact with the vehicle at a fundamental level. They're not just taking the existing interface from the R1 platform and copying it over to the R2. They're using the R2 as an opportunity to evolve their software design language and potentially address some of the feedback they've received about the R1 interface over the past few years. But I'm curious what you think about this. Do you actually like this new UI direction? Does it look like an improvement to you, or do you think it could be refined in a different way? Let me know in the comments because I genuinely want to hear the community's perspective on this design evolution. Okay, so now we understand what the Droid R2s are and why they look so different from the camouflaged validation builds. But what's the actual deal with the embargo leak? How did this information get out, and what does it tell us about Rivian's timeline? Well, Inside EVs, one of the major electric vehicle news outlets, accidentally revealed in a video that their Rivian R2 embargo lifts on Tuesday, February 10th. This was clearly information that wasn't supposed to be public yet. The clip has since been removed from their website, scrubbed from their video, but as always happens on the internet, people caught it before it actually disappeared. Screenshots were taken, the information was shared across social media and EV forums, and now we all know. And that piece of information tells us exactly what phase Rivian is in right now with the R2 program. Think about what an embargo date actually means in the automotive media world. It means that media outlets have already had access to the vehicle. It means first drives are already done. Journalists have already spent time behind the wheel. They've already tested the acceleration, the handling, the range, the charging performance. They've already experienced the interior, evaluated the build quality, assessed the technology features. They've already conducted their reviews and written their articles or produced their videos. All of that work is complete. It's just sitting there, waiting for the embargo date when they're allowed to publish. So this means that R2 reviews from major automotive media outlets are going to go live very soon. We're talking days, not weeks or months. You could say that next week, we're not guessing any more about what the R2 is actually like to drive and own. We're not speculating based on specifications or making assumptions based on the R1 platform. We're getting real-world impressions from professional automotive journalists who have actually driven the vehicle. We're getting real details about how it performs, how it feels, how the technology works in practice. And we're getting real answers to all the questions that the Rivian community has been asking since the R2 was first announced. And then the question naturally becomes, what comes next once we find out all those details from the media reviews? What's the next milestone in Rivian's R2 rollout? Well, first we should expect the online configurator to go live relatively soon after the media embargo lifts. The configurator is where potential customers can actually start building their R2, selecting options, seeing real pricing. We should find out what the launch edition specifications will include, what features come standard versus what's optional, what the different trim levels offer. We'll find out what pricing will actually be, not just the starting price that Rivian announced at the reveal, but the real-world pricing when you start adding options and features that most people will want. And after the configurator goes live and people can actually place their orders, the next major milestone is the first official R2 rolling off the production line in Normal, Illinois, and making its way into an actual customer's driveway. That's when this all becomes real. That's when the R2 transitions from being an exciting concept that Rivian announced to being a real product that real people are driving every day. We're getting so incredibly close to that moment now. The timeline is compressing. All the pieces are falling into place. And if you've made it this far in this deep dive, and you want to know what's actually changed on the R2 since it was originally announced at the reveal event, because Rivian has made some modifications and refinements during the development process, you'll definitely want to check out the other content covering those updates, because there have been some interesting evolutions in the design and specifications. But before we wrap this up, there's one last thing I need to point out, and it's a detail that's going to make a lot of people really happy. Rivian quietly kept a feature that people absolutely loved from the R1 platform. Look at that new UI in the CNBC footage again, specifically at the bottom of the screen. Two glove box indicators appear in the interface. Yes, we have two glove boxes in the R2, just like the R1T and R1S. Rivian kept this quirky, practical, genuinely useful feature that became one of those small details that R1 owners really appreciate. In a world where automakers are constantly cost-cutting and removing features to hit price targets, Rivian maintained this thoughtful storage solution in their more affordable R2 platform. And if you made it this far through this entire analysis, comment gloves down below, because I genuinely want to see who actually stayed through this whole deep dive into the R2 embargo leak and what it means for Rivian's timeline. Thank you so much for reading all the way through, for being part of this community that's following Rivian's journey so closely. And remember, adventure is always out there waiting for us.